Hey, this is Trey, and you're listening to Us and Them.
And here we are again, on the same thing, with another continuance on this man's behalf. We haven't had any justice.
That's Faye Adkins. She's talking about a legal case in Charleston, West Virginia, against a man charged with killing her teenage son.
You took my son's life away from me. You know, I know you're supposed to forgive everybody, but I just can't find it in my heart to forgive this man for taking my 15-year-old son, and I don't think that anybody else would either.
For this week, we had a different episode queued up, but we're preempting that plan because of an update to a story we've been tracking. Our last episode, Waiting for Justice, focused on a story we've been tracking for nearly 2.5 years. It's a case of a fatal shooting. William Pullman, a 62-year-old white man, shot and killed a 15-year-old African-American boy. This happened in Charleston, West Virginia, back in November 2016. The case made national headlines. Reports say during his confession, Pulliam told police, "The way I look at it, that's another piece of trash off the streets." Like many people, I've been waiting for Pulliam's trial. Early on, there was concern in Charleston that this trial might draw a lot of national attention, kind of like the trials for the killers of Trayvon Martin or Michael Brown. But there have been multiple delays to Pulliam's trial. One of the most recent delays came because Pulliam was found mentally incompetent and unable to assist in his own defense. But after several months in a rehabilitation center, Pulliam's competency was restored. And his trial was scheduled for May 6th, 2019. But instead of a trial, the newest court hearing announced yet another delay in the case, pushing the trial off until August. I couldn't attend the hearing, but my friend and colleague, Lacie Pierson, the courts reporter for the Charleston Gazette, was in the courtroom. And she gives us a rundown of what happened.
The reason for the delay today, Mr. Pullman has gotten a new attorney. He previously, this has to be at least his third attorney, and he wasn't satisfied with his most recent appointment. All of his attorneys have been court appointed. But his new attorney, Barbara Bound, she's new to the case, and she just asked for more time to become more familiar with the case.
Did the judge have any reaction to the fact that Mr. Pullman wanted to change his counsel?
No, it actually, honestly, for this judge, it was, like I said, this is something that happens every day in this courthouse, that people ask for continuances, and often for the very reason we saw today, where there's a new court-appointed attorney who's just not as familiar with the case.
Right.
And Judge King's demeanor was not different from how his demeanor usually is. He's fairly to the point. He'll let people talk, but he just wants them to say what he wants or what they want him to do and what they want him to order, and he just kind of goes with it. I
somehow thought that this thing has been kind of continued, that he might be exasperated, but you're saying that he wasn't.
No, I mean, he can definitely be kind of stern as a judge, but he didn't seem unusually frustrated in compared to any other case. I mean, I've covered several cases in his courtroom, and if when he is frustrated, he will note that. And if there have been too many continuances, he will say, you know, the next time we're here in court, we're having a trial or we're having a plea hearing.
So apparently he hadn't hit critical mass yet.
No, not with this case, but he has before in others.
Yeah. Did he direct any comments to Mr. Pullman?
No, it was a hearing that was just heavy on arguments from the attorneys and Judge King questioning the attorneys. I mean, the issue of the continuance was handled pretty quickly, and the rest of the hearing sort of focused on whether they would have a pretrial hearing to deal with some evidence and some suppression motions that Mr. Pullman's attorney has.
Okay. Mr. Pullman was in the courtroom. What was his demeanor like?
Today, he was the same as he has been in any other hearing, where he is quiet. He keeps his head down when he shuffles through the courtroom. He's obviously still in jail, so he comes in sort of the inmate orange jumper, and his feet and his hands are in shackles. He might whisper to his attorney if she addresses him. He will answer the judge if the judge asks anything of him, but otherwise he stays silent and typically will just keep his head down.
Okay. So this sounds like a real procedural thing, but the trial was supposed to begin today. And were the Means family, were they there, ready for a trial to start?
They were here, but they understood that there was going to be a continuance, and they were frustrated. I mean, when you say the word continuance, people don't really use that word very often. That's not something that most people keep in their vocabulary, especially in this way. I mean, more accurate way to say it is just another delay.
Okay.
And they didn't come here anticipating a trial. I mean, I think, honestly, every day of their lives, they anticipate a trial. They anticipate justice, and they anticipate answers, and they anticipate Mr. Pulliam to give some kind of reason, or they want to hear why he shot their son, their cousin, their brother. That's what they anticipate. They didn't anticipate a trial today, but they anticipate a resolution at some point, and I think they will. If they have to wait the rest of their lives for it, they'll wait.
I'm curious, how many people were in the courtroom?
It was a pretty packed courtroom, but there were so many hearings set down too, it's hard to tell who was there for what, but after Mr. Pulliam's hearing ended, I'd say the courtroom emptied out about halfway. I inferred that some of the people who were there were relatives of James Means' friends, because they will also be called as witnesses.
Right.
In this case too. So I mean, they obviously have a vested interest in being here, and of course, this was their friend or their son's friend, and they also have an interest in seeing justice served in this case.
Could you tell if there was anybody there to support William Pulliam?
There didn't appear to be, to me, and I haven't seen anybody there in the past who appeared to be there for him.
Well, at the time when this shooting and the killing of James Means happened, I mean, there was an outrage. It made the national news. And most of it had to do with the incendiary comment that William Pulliam made when he was in police custody, where he said, I was just taking a piece of trash off the street. And based on that, it seemed like there was going to be a lot of outrage and a lot of people coming to protest, whether there would be local groups or national groups. Was there any evidence of protests in the courtroom or outside?
With the exception of James's family, one of his cousins, his mom and his aunt who were here today, there was none. And even the media coverage was, all things considered, especially for a murder trial, even the media coverage was scant. I mean, it was me from the Gazette, you all from public broadcasting, and only one television outlet was here to cover it too, which seemed odd to me. There was none of that. And you know this just as well as I do, that James Means' family initially took the approach that they were going to, stay calm and wait for this thing to play out, but it's taken so long. And even James's Aunt Teresa today said that, a lot of people think that this trial's happened and that he's in jail, but it's not. And she noted that there's no resolution and there's no peace for them. So it does seem to be that now maybe they do want to, step out a little bit and talk more about this case and rally a little more support from the public, because there's no resolution in this case.
When I've spent time over the past couple of years with James Means' family, you can feel how everything is still up in the air for them. Lacie told me it was impossible not to sense this after the hearing today, when she and a handful of reporters asked them some questions. Some of their responses were predictable, others not. But it's clear they're tired of waiting and frustrated with a process that's taken nearly 3 years.
It's very painful. It's frustrating. I feel like they're not doing their jobs. They're not doing anything to help me.
They're not doing anything to help a 15-year-old kid who was murdered.
Yeah, because we're not at rest, and neither is my son.
Yeah, we still have to deal with this on a day-to-day basis. My cousin has a birthday coming up, and this is This is a lot.
Whenever this first started, what were the prosecutors telling you? I mean, did they say we'll update you, or did they give you any sort of perspective on what
Their
to expect?
response was, we're with you with this all the way. We'll let you know any court hearings that's coming up, anything that's going on, and has not done so. I have missed court hearing dates. They don't call me, they don't update me on anything, and I'm just fed up with it right about now.
Why is it important for you to want to get to these court hearings and
Because
see it happen?
it's important for me and my family to know, because I want justice for my son.
Yes.
My son is not getting any justice. My family is not getting any justice. My problem is that this man has gotten another lawyer, and I was not contacted. They do not do their job. They are not reaching out to me, my family, letting us know what's going on. This is not fair. This is not justice at all. It's just continues after continues. It's excuse after excuse. Not saying that I'm racist, but had this been James shooting him, he would have been sentenced to juvenile and then sentenced to prison. This is not fair. My son needs justice.
So what are your feelings toward the legal system now that you've experienced all these continuances?
I just feel like I can't trust them, because everything that they say is not true. You know, you say you here to help me, you here to give my son justice. You has not done that. My son has not had justice for 3 years now.
And we're hoping August 5th we actually do get some justice, because it's overdue.
I look at it like, come August 5th, it'll be another continuous. It's just always something. It's a continuous 3 days before the trial. It's a continuous a week before the trial. Nobody's calling me. I'm getting all the information from the news or from somebody out on the street or me calling myself. They're not reaching out. They're not helping me. Had I not called a week ago and then called last Friday, I wouldn't even known that the trial was being rescheduled to August.
You feel better knowing that he doesn't have a mental case to get out of this?
I do, but I just feel like they could push a little bit harder.
It seems like it's always a loophole.
Yeah, they should push a little harder. You know, I feel like not to sit there and agree on everything that his lawyer is saying is, yes, we could do this, yes, we could do this, yes, we could do this. But what are you saying on our behalf of, no, this has been 3 years. You know, I think Miss Atkins and her family has went long enough. We need a closure.
So how do you all get through this?
I don't get through it. I wake up every morning, I have my son's pictures all over my wall, you know, and every morning when you step in my living room or in my bedroom, his pictures are there. I cry every morning. That's something that you can't get over. You can't get over that. You can go and talk to somebody. You could go and try to get it off your chest. You can't get that off your chest. That's something that you wake up to every day when you have little sisters and brothers wondering,
Why they can't?
they didn't even know what was going on. When is James coming home? When is James coming home? You know, you have to sit there and explain to them that he's never coming home.
Come August, what do you want to see happen?
Come August at the trial, hopefully justice. Hopefully justice. That's what I'm hoping for. I want him to explain why he did this, and you know, you just gotta be a hateful person just to even do that. You could argue, you could fight, people do that every day. But what right do you have to just go out here and shoot a 15-year-old boy just because y'all was pushed or shoved in a store? Or words. People say words every day. I'm not gonna go out here and shoot nobody just because they said something mean to me.
So, where are we? Well, it's another delay in the case. Will it be the last delay? Perhaps not. Not too long ago, someone asked me on Facebook why I'm so drawn to this case. There have been other race-based shootings across the country that have blown up into a media storm. so far, this case hasn't gotten that kind of attention. After the shooting, some people worried that activists like Al Sharpton and Malik Shabazz could come to Charleston to lead demonstrations. But that hasn't happened. Back then, the National Office of the NAACP asked how it could support the leaders of Charleston's black community. But so far, that hasn't been necessary. From what I can tell, few people are talking about this case in white or black Charleston. It seems like the initial outrage over this case has faded. And I guess I want to understand why that has happened.
In difficult times, music gives us peace, brings us together, and helps heal us. It calms our nerves and brightens our days. That's why we're bringing you classic episodes of Mountain Stage on air and in our podcast. This is Larry Gross, host of Mountain Stage. Find something that's familiar or brand new and feel the power of live music on our website, mountainstage.org.
You've been listening to Us and Them. Our show was produced by me, Trey Kay, Eric Douglas, and Kate Smith. Special thanks to Lacie Pierson of the Charleston Gazette for helping us out with this update. Michael Lipton and Tristan Lozow wrote and performed the Us and Them show music. Mark Lerner designed our logo. The marvelous people at PRX and West Virginia Public Broadcasting make Us and Them possible. So do grants from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the National Endowment for the Humanities, the West Virginia Humanities Council, the CRC Foundation, and the Daywood Foundation. Us and Them was originally developed with assistance from the mentorship program at AIR, the Association of Independents in Radio. We'll see you next time on Us and Them.
Support for this podcast comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.